Hey, what's good, fam? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. On Thursday, June 17th, I have some team nuggets to report as we get into the later part of June. But before we get going, definitely hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. We appreciate you more than you know. Now, leading off, I know there's been some photos that have been circulating, different camera angles or whatever about Bryce Young. You need to put that to bed. Look, he showed what he could do in the spring game. I think his ability with a quick release, his ability to find receivers or a tight end in this case when he hit Cameron 2 for the big touchdown, you need to stop. You need to stop trolling college football players out there. Let these kids do their craft, okay? I think Bryce Young is more than capable to lead this team. And I think when you look at Alabama's quarterback room, one thing that I really love about it is the fact that it's so youthful, right? You look to the quarterback behind Bryce Young, which is going to be Paul Tyson. Hearing great things about Paul Tyson. I think that, you know, with his live arm and his ability to find receivers, and I think that a lot of the criticism on Paul comes from A-Day in the fact that, you know, he didn't have a lot of time. Well, look, he didn't have the first team offensive line. He didn't have the impact wide receivers. So I think you need to slow down if you're going to be hypercritical about Paul Tyson, because I think from everything that we pieced together, Paul Tyson's right there as well. So Bryce Young, 1, Paul Tyson 2, and number 3, Jalen Milroe. And in fact, I have some nuggets on Jalen Milroe. Number 1, here he made some great progress during spring. Now, I know we didn't get to see him during A-Day, but check this out. I'm hearing that Jalen Milroe is by far the fastest quarterback in the room. Not surprising. But someone also told me that Jalen Milroe might be one of the fastest players on this football team, okay? So I know we're super excited to see all these quarterbacks in action, especially Jalen Milroe, because we didn't get to see him. He's a freshman, but a super talented athlete, very fast in open space. And I heard during that second scrimmage, Jalen Milroe really showed what he can do back during the spring game, okay? Let's move forward. Talking about the defense, I'm going to hit on various items in this, kind of jump back and forth. I'm hearing that there is a lot of competition during the 7-on-7, a lot of alphas going against each other, a lot of players that really are trying to prove themselves. And I'm not surprised to hear that. You look at all the components that left from last season. I think there's a lot of guys who are out there saying, look, I can play. I can be a starter. I'm going to make an impact. I'm going to continue that lineage of elite college football at Alabama. You're replacing Najee Harris. You're replacing Mac Jones. You're replacing Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Landon Dickerson. And that's just on the offensive side. You look at the defensive side, you only lose really Patrick Surtain. You do lose Dylan Moses. But a lot of these defensive players coming back, they want to prove that this defense is capable to lead this team to a championship, right? To defend that national title. When you look to the inside linebacker position, Henry To'oTo'o, Jalen Moody, both those guys repping at the inside linebacker position along with Christian Harris. I'm not surprised to see Henry To'oTo'o getting in the mix already. These guys, these transfers coming into play. Yes, we're going to talk about Jameson Williams in just a second. But Henry To'oTo'o, looking very good. Same with Jalen Milroe. Also hearing great things about JaQuincy McKinstry, who, by the way, is now Kool-Aid on the official Alabama Crimson Tide football roster. Look, that's probably the first time that's ever happened, right? You have a player that's like straight up named Kool-Aid. I love it. I love the connection that he has with Saban, right? We all saw Saban get after him during the spring game. Hearing Kool-Aid's going to be right there. Still looking for an update on Kyrie Jackson. Once I have one, I'll bring that to you right here on Bama Insider. Talk about the wide receiver from Ohio State, Jameson Williams, and continue to hear really positive things about Williams and the speed that he has. You look at Alabama's wide receiver room, right? John Mechie, who, by the way, has been having a fantastic summer. Looks dynamite, looks fluid, looks smooth. A lot of experience coming back. You have Slade Bolden. You have Javon Baker. Those are the first team wide receivers that are getting rotation, but Jameson Williams also in that fold. And I think one of the things that Jameson Williams adds to this team is he's fast, similar system, so to speak. And, you know, he's coming from one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country, Ohio State. So he's coming back. He's coming to Alabama and really fitting a need that Alabama was looking for, and that's speed. Look, nothing against John Mechie, nothing against Javon Baker, nothing against Slade Bolden, but those guys don't have an elite speed status, right? You look at the guys of the past at Alabama's wide receiver room. Jerry Jeudy, incredibly fast. Henry Ruggs, Olympic fast. Jalen Waddle, cheetah fast. You get what I'm saying? Now, when you look to the current wide receiver room, those guys don't have that speed. And I think from what I hear about Jameson Williams is that he has that speed. So Alabama was looking for that. He has that. So I think you're going to see Jameson Williams continue to get reps to that first team. Not surprising. Hearing great things about Billingsley and Cameron Latou. You're going to see formations with both those guys working in. I think there's a clear connection between Bryce Young and Cameron Latou. Latou proved during the springtime that he can play with the ones, that he can be effective and really contribute at this level. And I think we all know that Billingsley is probably going to be one of Alabama's top targets this season, just because he has an incredible ability to be split out to the outside, inside lineup, put his hand in the dirt, and go out and be a mismatch problem. He has a ton of athleticism. If you don't know about Billingsley, you're going to know about him soon enough. In the backfield, hearing Brian Robinson looks like a beast, right? Straight up. I mean, you saw those pictures we tweeted out on Bama Insider. I mean, guy shredded, probably 230 pounds, coming back for his extra senior season. And behind him, you have, in my opinion, a lot of running backs who really have the same attributes, right? Trey Sanders, who, by the way, here he's looking very good during the summertime. He's back healthy. He should be fully cleared by the start of the season. And then you have Roydell Williams and Jace McClellan and Kamar Wheaton. I think all those running backs from Sanders all the way down to Wheaton, I think those guys are very similar in terms of being all-purpose backs. You look at the production that Roydell Williams and Jace McClellan had during A-Day, I think it showed that they can catch the football out of the backfield. And one of my biggest question marks about this offense is there a running back on this team that can catch the ball out of the backfield if Bryce Young needs to check down? You look at Najee Harris, what did he catch last year? 43 receptions. I get it. A lot of those weren't just check downs, but Najee Harris, my point is he could catch the football, and I'm curious to find out about these running backs on the roster. Can these guys still, catch the football out of the backfield if they need to? Because I think Alabama's offense was that much better with a running back that could catch the rock. Summer enrollee JoJo Earle, looking pretty good. Getting some reps. I hear that, he's not rotating with the first team or anything like that, but he's one of the guys that I know you had questions about kind of going in. I think when you look to more about the defense, it's only 7 on, so we're not hearing really, much about the defensive linemen. But I think when you look to the fact that Chris Allen, Christian Harris, and William Anderson, those guys didn't play during A-Day. With those guys back in the rotation for the defense, I think the defense is going to be one of the best defenses in America. Hearing great things about Malachi Moore. Malachi Moore repping with the first team at that star position over Brian Branch. I think that Brian Branch and Malachi Moore are pretty much the same player, right? I don't think you can go wrong with either guy, and that's how deep Alabama is, right? Alabama, right, if the starter goes out, the number 2 guy is just as good, and that's what makes the competition so good at Alabama. So I wouldn't read too much on which player is, starting right now or whatever. I think you look at it, how much depth does this team have, and quality depth. How much quality depth does this team have? As we move forward, one player that I definitely want to talk about is Slade Bolden. Look, Slade Bolden is definitely going to get plenty of reps. I think with Bill O'Brien being cut from that New England Patriots cloth, he's going to find a way to get Slade Bolden in the action. I think Slade Bolden, his ability to cut over the middle of the field, good hands. I think that Slade is a very experienced player and can sit in defensive zones and, be a target for Bryce Young. So I think you're going to see a lot of Slade Bolden this year. Alabama really likes him. Very high, intelligent, high IQ on Slade Bolden, knows the system in and out, and I think he's going to be utilized this year. When we look to the punter situation, I know Alabama just landed a punter from Australia, but I know that Ty Perrine is still out there working with the punters. You have Jack Martin, who transferred from Troy, and then you have Will Reichert, who can also punt. So you have a lot of punters in the fold. Of course, Will Reichert is going to be your kicker for this coming season. And, that's kind of the lone special teams report that we have. Not too much special teams information kind of floating out there. I'm wondering, honestly, about this team, who's going to be the new long snapper that replaces Thomas Fletcher. And the reason I ask about the long snapper, I'm interested in that position specifically, is that Thomas Fletcher started every single game for the last 4 seasons at Alabama. So, I mean, you kind of, that's one position I think you kind of almost take for granted. But I think that having a long snapper to help facilitate the special teams is very important. So I'm going to try to dive into who is the long snapper this coming season for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Well, I hope you have a fantastic weekend and enjoy your family. Thank you very much for being a part of BamaInsider.com. I sincerely appreciate you being part of this fabric, part of this community right here on our YouTube channel. Definitely hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. You can catch all our content back at Bama Insider. Free promo code for 30 days is simply Roll Tide. We'll be back with another video, whether that's recruiting, whether that's team coverage, right here on BamaInsider.com. From Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson, BamaInsider.com.